Children born racist. Emerging research reveals the impact of a single interaction on racial prejudices in children. A recent psychological study conducted by researchers belonging to Hangzhou Normal University, University of Detroit Mercy, University of California, and University of Toronto reveals young children can form generalization attitudes towards other races after just a single interaction. Previous research has discovered that children form racial generalizations after repeated interactions with a single racial outgroup member. Adding greater depth to this overall field, the authors of the present paper delved into the question, can children form racial generalizations through just a singular interaction? This study offers insight into how racial prejudices are nurtured from a young age. The study, published in the Journal of Fundamental Science, involved a total of 147 Chinese school children aged between 5 and 6 years old. The published paper was formed by conducting two separate experiments, Study 1 and Study 2. Study 1 was designed to discover the way children's attitudes towards racial groups shifted after a single interaction. The study was performed in a card game situation with a black adult. It was referenced as the racial outgroup member. Attitude tests towards the racial outgroup were conducted before and after the simulated activity. Through completing the simulated card game and analyzing data from the pre- and post-racial attitudes study, the study was able to understand whether a single interaction can have an impact on generalized attitudes, and aims to reveal whether cooperative and competitive attitudes hold varying effects. In comparison, the follow-up experiment, Study 2, was used as a control. One group of participants interacted with an adult from another race group, while the other group of participants were paired with a member of the same race. Pre- and post-implicit and explicit attitude tests were conducted to understand whether bias remained unchanged. In the context of this study, implicit attitudes are those which are at the subconscious level of thinking and were analysed by measuring the reaction time of children to map out in-group faces compared to the racial out-group faces in a set of images. While explicit attitudes are those at the conscious level of thinking and were measured by students completing a forced bias test where they were stated their preference of Chinese versus racial outgroups in different occupational roles. In both studies, data indicated that negative explicit attitudes decreased, while implicit negative attitudes increased, indicating that significant levels of anti-black and pro-Chinese bias was present before and after the simulated interactions. Therefore, the authors conclude that an initial interaction with a member of an unfamiliar race can cause children to develop sweeping generalizations towards that race. These results were deemed significant, and the use of a control proved that data accurately reflected the race of adult participants. This paper lays an extended foundation and understanding of research regarding the early development of racial generalization and attitudes. The published results and further results from different studies could be
created using Powtoon.